Hello, my gorgeous friends. It's your friend Kevin, and this is your. I can't talk today. This is your divine daily blast. Here we go. We're in an angel numerology number 6 day today. I like the number 6. I like the number 4 too, but the number 6 gives me opportunity. It gives me kind of even the shape of a number 6. You think of a 6-pointed star, and you sort of got 6 sides, whatever that shape is. Anyway, the angel number 6 represents harmony, balance, love, responsibility. It calls for a focus on nurturing your loved ones, being selfless in service of others, exercising your empathy and your compassion, focusing on home and family responsibility. Manifestation is under the number 6. When you're seeing the double 6, it's trusting that your emotional material needs are being supported by the universe. And if you're seeing a triple 6, no, it does not mean the sign of the devil. Anyone that tells you all of that nonsense is just trying to fearmonger you. That's nonsense. The sequence of numerology, the triple 6 is a powerful reminder that we've got to realign our thoughts and actions with a higher value and focus on balance and shifting this perspective from from fear into faith. I had to get wrong. Now, on the very rare occasion you see quadruple 6, that means God's with you. It's divine encouragement supported while you strengthen the foundations of your life and bring even more harmony into your home and your relationships. Get into your plants, get into your crystals, your crystal grids, all the colors in your house. That kind of thing works with this number 6. It's about revitalization, in other words. Moving on, my isms. I'm abundant, I'm health, I am love, I'm protected. I am rich in opportunity, I am rich in experience, I am rich in curiosity, I am rich in choice. The I am is a wake-up call to the universe and the angels and the spirit guides and all of those that want to help us. Come on, let's go, we've got this. Now, the moon is still in Pisces, as Mercury and Pluto have a little connection. It's a good time to get to the bottom of anything that's perplexing you, anything that's sort of bothering you, anything that sort of like needs a bit of your attention, needs revitalizing, if you will. Have an in-depth conversation with people, but maintain a sense of humor. Remember at the beginning of the week when I did my week ahead, I said that these energies are going to be quite topsy-turvy. You're going to hear things, you're going to see things, you're going to understand things. And the idea is to look at the week as it's unfolding, like you're watching Movie of the Week on Lifetime. Something where you're not drawn in to the drama. You're rather watching it because it's all temporary. It's like waves coming up on the shore. It washes in and it washes back out again. Get the drift, get the understanding. What else can I say? Where are we today? Louise Hay. I'm grateful, and I think often. I thank life often during the day. Thank you, heat. Thank you, vehicle. So grateful that the roads are not busy. So grateful that I have everything that I need. So grateful this, so grateful that. What are you grateful for? I'm grateful that you're on the planet. You're on the planet and you're on the channel. I'm grateful that these plants I found last week at a nursery were so affordable, and I'm grateful that I got to bring them home and give them a little bit of a new life. And now I'm watching their leaves sort of unfurl, like they're saying, "Yes, thank you, welcome." Now we're in harmony with each other. That kind of thing. It lifts the vibration up and out of worry and depression and debauchery and anxiety. And listen, I don't know where that gets us. It's just a hallway to torment, more tormenting things. Whenever I feel like I'm impatient or I want something to happen quicker than it really is, I just go somewhere else quickly and quietly, and thank the universe that I get to look at something in a different way. Here's a message from Archangel Raphael. As a vibrational matchmaker, I can draw deeply powerful relationships into your life, both romantic and platonic. I am worthy of unconditional love. I open my heart to love's infinite possibilities. Opening our heart, being the light, being the love, being the truth, being all of those things is really what attracts more of it. We've said all week long, we've got to kind of give up this blame and this shame and it's somebody's fault and this is terrible, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'm not buying into all of that. Sky beings, looking at things from a higher perspective. Thank you, sky beings, for helping me see things differently. And if there's something, with this Mercury, where is it? Where did I see that? Here we go. Got my notes. With this Mercury Pluto, Pluto's the great destroyer. And I would say when you bring Mercury into play, the communicator, if you've got the destruction of Pluto and you've got the communication planet of Mercury, you're looking at destroying myths. You're looking at destroying somebody else's ideal as not yours. We don't have to adopt someone else's ideals of anything if we don't agree with it. We just don't get into it. We just let it move along. Hathor, Hethu, however you want to say it, the light activator, accelerating brilliance, standing in your light, shining light into your shadows. Now, I said I pulled 7 cards for the beginning of the week. Here's the card from Ciro Marchetti's deck, and it is this fabulous image of the Hermit. Hermit is a number 9 card in the tarot journey. But what I love about this inward thinking, deep philosophical man, because it looks like he's the man of the forest. But it's just a gorgeous, all of the images from Ciro Marchetti in this mystic palette, what is this thing? Mystic Palette Tarot. There's the box. It's just a gorgeous deck. It's rich. At least it speaks to me. It gives me something to focus on. But I digress. Some modern decks depict the Hermit as a tiny figure in this vast landscape, with usually with the back drawn to us. It's usually shown from a distance, and his face is usually obscured. But this Mystic Palette Hermit takes an opposite approach and brings you a close-up image, emphasizing the Hermit's humanity. And paradoxically, he just seems to blend into the forest, like clearing that, saying that this is his inhabit. This is what he's inhabiting right now. Like going into your inner forest, the inner forest of your heart, your mind. And if you follow his hair, you can even see it, down the sides of the car to the bottom of it, which is all the way down through here, looks like he's inside a tree, but it's actually his hair and sort of the hood he's wearing, that kind of thing. You'll notice that the hair blends in and becomes tree bark. Perhaps we're gazing out from within inside the tree. If you look at this, perhaps it's a looking outward from the inside. Now, the image records the legend of Merlin, who was imprisoned in a tree by his enemy and his ex-student, which was Nimue. That was in the enchanted forest of Brocliande. Now, the Hermit can, in some decks, in some traditions, be compared with the High Priestess or the Hierophant. Now, just like the High Priestess, the Hermit is a solitary image, a solitary ideology. But while the High Priestess actions are from the intuitive, the psychic, his are more self-awareness. He brings an analytical view to who he is. He takes on the rational and intelligent characteristics of the Hierophant, but the Hierophant is one of these public-facing cards, it's one of these public-facing images, and works to improve the lives of other people. While the hermit is solitary, alone, working on himself. And the hermit enters his inner landscape with this lamp, you can see it, the light within. He shines this rational and analytical light upon everything that's lacking, what's lacking in rationality. And he does this in order to emerge wiser, to be able to frame all of his own perceptions and conclusions in context of knowledge, discovering everything about his own humanity. Now he's got this lovely, friendly, grandpa-looking gaze that suggests he's taken the opportunity to befriend himself. He's learned how to love himself. So, coming up in this particular reading, it's suggesting the desire to go off alone, recover, reflect, meditate, absorb the process that life is handing to us. I'm hoping this is making sense, not going into the ethereal too much. We can spend lots and lots of time asking other people, what do you think of this? What do you think I should do about that? How do you feel like I should handle this situation or that situation? Many spiritualists go to other spiritualists for readings. There was a myth that people who do readings shouldn't read for themselves. Well, that's absolute poppycock. We should there's our card. Oh, Gertrude, I love you. Gertrude just said, wait a minute, hang on. She's telling me to have compassion. Being a Scorpio with a Leo rising, I have a tendency to slide down the slippery slope of judgment. I still do really, my paternal grandmother. No, she's not with us, she's in spirit, but I loved her because she had this analytical view of other people. She's also she was a very accomplished psychic. She didn't practice it for many people because, back in the day, that she would be considered a nut job. She'd be put in an asylum and she'd get really not a very good she wouldn't get a very good reputation. Many women in during the war in the 50s and the 60s who practiced divination were looked at like cuckoo birds. But people knew how to find their way through the hole in the bushes and come knock on grandma's door to get their readings. Anyway, moving on from all of this, seeing things from a different perspective, revitalizing, getting something, looking at it from a different angle, but always with a higher, putting light to it. We have our card of compassion. This to me looks like a Native American fairy because it's got butterflies. They are a butterfly. And they're saying, have compassion. Now, if I'm doing a reading and I'm pulling cards together and I've got this one and this one, along with the 6 and along with Mercury and Pluto having their little kiki, I'm going to tell the seeker that it is time for you to get out of the doldrums of your head and your heart, look at yourself with beautiful eyes, see yourself from inside yourself, get to know yourself better, but do it all with compassion. Now, my friends, we all know that when we look at ourselves with that critical eye because somehow the ego wants to stuff the comparison gene in there. I wish I was more like this one. I wish I was more like that one. I wish I had more money. Well, those people... Oh, I'm getting ratchet. All right, Gertrude, stop it. I'm getting ratchet, and I'm going to do it. People who show off their wealth are usually not wealthy. They're usually not wealthy in compassion. They're not wealthy in love. They're not wealthy in joy. They're not wealthy in happiness. But then you see people that seemingly live a very modest life and they're completely content. Am I making sense? Content, happiness, success isn't seen in things, cannot come from the material world. So have compassion with yourself today. Have compassion and seek compassion and give thanks. I mean, Louise Hay has some incredible, wonderful YouTubes about just going into that place of compassion and showing the world compassion. Be compassionate in anything and everything you do today. This card has been turned to be the fairy king, but I'm also saying that, you know, even in Native American traditions, there are fairies. And this fairy king of compassion treats himself with love and kindness and care, and his wish is that you do the same. Directing compassion towards ourselves is the most important thing we can do. Showing sympathy, kindness to other people, and try to do that with ourselves. You know, here's the thing I will say about that. I've come across quite a few people that seemingly show compassion outward. You know, sorry for this and oh gosh, they're that, but they don't do it to themselves. Some are selfless to the point where they're going without. That's not what the universe is saying. Some seemingly show compassion, but it's not genuine, it's not authentic. It's just because everyone else is doing it. So, do you see the balance? Let's go in. Let's go in and clean up the mess that says we're not good enough, we're not worthy, we're not deserving, all of those things. And clean that up. Then it becomes an energy that you show. I had to have compassion with myself a few years ago when I was sitting looking at $42,000 of unsecured debt. Debt I brought on myself. I had to get compassion for myself. I had to understand that this was not money that was actually mine. This was actually money that was coming from banks and financial institutions. And for a brief moment, I felt shame and I felt guilt and I felt that I was some kind of terrible person. All the while, I'm getting on here every day doing the Divine Daily Blast, speaking this language. And then I kind of worked out, I got to walk the walk. I'm talking the talk, but I got to walk the walk. I've got to have compassion for myself. I've got to stop all this stuff. I've got to go and seek some help. And, you know, my higher beings, my angels were like, yes, you do. Now, in the what's now 2.5 years since I've been on a program to pay off these debts, I went for $42,000 and I'm now at about $15,000 that is actual debt that I am responsible for. It switched from feeling the weight of being what should I say, looking at myself in a dim light, looking at myself in a way that says, you know, you're a terrible person, you went ahead, you're all in all of this, looking at myself in the negative, there you go, to seeing myself as being human, having a physical experience and learning how to budget myself, learning how to say, I don't need the things I thought I did need. And yes, there are most definitely times, because I work for myself and I never know from one week to the next what's walking through the door. There are times when I am, this is a struggle. This is tight. This is, what do I feed the dogs this week? And there are times where I have to pick up the phone to the mortgage company. I'm behind. I know I'm behind. I've got to catch up. And it always works out okay. But, or I should say, and, all through this, I have compassion for the journey. I have compassion that this isn't intentional. It isn't intentional to get in this situation. It's just a journey to going through the situation to come out the other side with more wisdom. All right, my friends, that's enough of me banging on about myself. I was just giving you a context that we're all human and we're all going through it. All right, my friends, until tomorrow, much love and thanks for liking, subscribing and doing all that you do. Bye for now.